So our boy Stephen A. Smith was one of the people, that was going hard for Kamala. You know, he has a right to stomp hard for whoever he wants to stomp hard for, obviously. But Stephen A. ringing a different tune. Oh, Stephen A. ringing a different tune. Check out what Stephen A. had to say real quick.
Planning another White House run for the presidency in 2028. According to New York Magazine, she hasn't ruled it out yet. She may not have Stephen A. Smith's vote this time around. The sportscaster and podcast host has said he feels like a fool for voting for her, and he thinks the Democratic Party doesn't have anyone fighting for voters.
Here's the deal. The man was impeached twice. He was convicted on 34 felony counts. And the American people still said, he's closer to normal than what we see
Exactly.
left. That's what they're saying. He's closer to normal. Why? Because something that pertains, when you talk about the transgender community, for example, and you're talking about issues that pertain to less than 1% of the population, the Democratic Party came across as if that was a priority more so than the other issues. What voter out there can look at the Democratic Party at this moment in time and say, there's a voice for us, somebody that speaks for us, that goes up on Capitol Hill and fights the fights?
I know if you were an immigrant, if you are an immigrant who comes over here and wants to be a criminal, or if you Indian like Kamala.
And we want them fighting on our behalf. They didn't do that. And that's why their behinds are home. And that man is back into the White House. And they want to sit up there and talk. You look at the networks right now, they're talking about it. Look at it. This is the latest. Look at him. Here he goes again. Well, you know what here he goes again means? He's doing what he said he was going to do.
I mean, he nailed it.
Like that woman just said, he nailed it. Yo, Stephen A. slowly starting to creep on over to come on home, so to speak. But this is not new rhetoric from Stephen A. Smith. He was starting to sway this way a minute ago. The only thing is, his dumbass still went for Kamala. But Stephen A. singing a different tune, y'all. In this day and age, right? I don't know how somebody can look at me straight in the face, or not just me, look at anybody straight in the face and say, I am a Democrat. I don't know why. I don't have no allegiance, but what the Republicans are saying is making more sense to me, And what's crazy? The young people ain't really rocking with the Democrats like that. So if we get the Stephen A. Smith class, that age group, and they cross over, forget about it.
The Democratic Party at this moment, Harris, is listless.
Well, look, I don't think we should focus too much on them because they didn't have any ideas to win. And what little idea they had, they couldn't message it. They couldn't sell it. What Stephen A. Smith is talking about is the duplicity with which they were collecting money and basically swindling the American donors, the voters who gave to them, out of that cash to do nothing but flaunt celebrities right up until the very last day before election. They even got the whole network of NBC to bend the FCC rules to put her on SNL that weekend and not extend the same invitation to Donald Trump at the same time period. I mean, this is more than just whether or not the Democratic Party can bounce back. They need to go someplace and talk among themselves because the answers are quite clear. Stephen A.
That's a fact. Go somewhere and talk amongst themselves, because all they doing is going on TV and talking about how mad they are, talking about how upset they are, still calling the voters, especially the black voters that voted for Trump, still calling them idiots. But who the real idiot? Feel me?
Smith just gave them. They're not going to do that, though. The answers were clear, Kaylee, right before the election. They don't care about the American people's dollar. They really don't. They'll spend it for themselves in terms of donations, and they'll ignore it when it's not working for you, me, and anybody else at the grocery store. They've proven that. They showed us who they are. I believe them.
Hey, everyone.
There's a saying, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. And it ain't stopping there. It ain't stopping there. when Kamala announced her running mate, you know, was it Tom Waltz, whatever, she should have did something other than bringing on that old guy that was from a. Donald Trump did what he was supposed to do as far as a running mate went. He did exactly what he was supposed to do, man. Because like, JD Vance is on fire. He on fire. Check him out.
Vice President J.D. Vance taking CBS to task after being questioned on the White House overhauling immigration policy. Watch this.
Well, this is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country.
I gotta stop her right there. I gotta stop her right there. This is a country founded by immigrants. You know, the 13 colonies, if I'm not mistaken, you know, y'all can give me a history lesson if y'all want. I'm a self-proclaimed historian in my own right. Around the 1500s, you know what? Let me be for sure with the shit that I say. And did I say the 15 colonies? I don't know. The 13 colonies no, I'm not seeing. '17th century. So we're talking about the 1600s. You know, I said the 1500s, but you know, the 13 colonies is about the 1500s. You know, it's about the 1500s. So were those guys immigrants? I guess. I mean, they were definitely terrorists. I can tell you that much. You know, going amongst the world at pillage, but I digress. So by the time the country was actually founded, these guys were actually Americans. You know, some 150, 200 years later, 100 years later, they were Americans. So a country founded by immigrants. I mean, I don't know about that, sweetheart.
Taking CBS to task after being questioned on the White House overhauling immigration policy. Watch this.
Well, this is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country founded by. This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers. But
Shay, clean that up. Some immigrants, some settlers.
Just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world. America should actually look out for the interests of our citizens first.
Fox News contributor Joe Concha joins me now. Joe, you're
You know, this guy's like a whiz kid, you know, a golden boy, JD Vance. He got an answer for everything. And not just an answer just to say some bullshit. He really got legit answers. Answers. He knows what the fuck he's saying. I don't get for the life of me why this immigration thing is so hard to understand. You know, these people from these other countries, no matter what country they come from, whether it be South America, Canada, the Caribbean, Africa, Russia, Asia, these people are coming over, right? In most cases, illegally. So that's a crime within itself. Then they're having children, AKA anchor babies, just to get their citizenship. And my whole thing with that is, because these people be trying to clown Black Americans, you know, so-called African Americans. I don't refer to myself as an African American, but Afro-American, Black American, foundational Black American, the descendants of slaves, melanated people. They talk shit to us and undermine us, tell us to fix our own britches, hold our own nuts. So, oh, we so much better than you. Oh, the houses in America are trash. We make better houses. Like, do that shit in your country, bro. You know, do that shit in your own country. And on top of that, like, if these people are immigrating over and then trying to get this citizenship, no one's mad at that. Whether you be from wherever you from. Shout out to all my people in India, in Bangladesh. You know, like you come over to America, you do it the right way. I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you. I'm from New York City, one of the most diverse cities in the country, if not the world. If you do your shit the right way, you don't commit no crimes, I mean, you're gonna come contribute. But these motherfuckers are committing crimes. What the fuck is so hard to get about that?
Action.
Well, once again, Todd, JD Vance shows why Donald Trump chose him to be his VP. Every interview he does is a master class where he is the smartest, most common sense person in the room. And again, in this case, common sense won the argument against Margaret Brennan, who is yet another Democratic activist posing as a journalist over at CBS News. We all remember the way she conducted herself during the vice presidential debate, where she tried to fact check JD Vance, and Vance fact checked her fact check, and then she cut his mic off because she couldn't take the fact check. Look, the bottom line is, to JD Vance's point, we can't just absorb 12, 15, 20 million people into this country who enter illegally, completely unvetted, without there being consequences. We're talking about consequences from a national security standpoint, safety perspective. We're talking about consequences from a quality of life and economic perspective. We're seeing in places like New York, social services like education, sanitation, police, they're all being cut because we're trying to subsidize all these people and paying for them to be here in perpetuity. And polling shows, Todd, that a vast majority of Americans support the fact that mass deportation will be part of the Trump presidency. They obviously also support border wall, remain in Mexico, all these things to secure our border. So yeah, everybody loves immigration in terms of bringing people into this country legally. It makes this country great, but we can't continue to have what we had under the Biden administration. And once again, JD Vance showed why, once again, he's the smartest guy in the room during these interviews.
I mean, he didn't say nothing wrong. Right? He did not say nothing wrong. Like I said, if you a Democrat, I'm not playing you like your affiliation is your affiliation. You feel me? But I just want to know why. Why? These motherfuckers keep no promises. You know what I'm saying? No counter promises. So, in other news,